Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Naru's Corner, and this week we are gonna take a look at connecting your games to game sets. If you wanna create some version of Ylands for yourself, some game hub, some game hub that is gonna, branch out into your single mini games, or whether you wanna create like story one where one goes one game follows another. This is exactly what game sets are for, and it is quite easy once you really understand how to connect them together and everything. But the first steps in this can be quite confusing because it's not really specified clearly what you should and shouldn't do. So I thought we were just going to take a look at it and create some very simple example and that you can follow later. So to start with, I have created this game which is named something like Naru's Corner Hub, and this is going to be my main game, right? Which is glorious, as everyone can see. We're gonna need a global storage where we're gonna create the functions for jumping between games, and of course that we have to give this a feeling of a hub. So obviously I'm just gonna spell out a hub because that is the best I can do, right? Okay, so this is officially our glorious game hub. It's gonna like hang out there. Well, this is spectacular, isn't it? Okay, so once you have your hub created, we can create a game set. This game set is gonna be called, what are we gonna call it? Game hub example, right? Example. Okay, game hub example, and we are gonna add a current game. Now you can see that when you add something to your game set, it is added locally, and this will be local up until the point where you update, where you upload it to workshop. Until then, it's just added locally and you can't see it from other games, right? I will see this hub only from this, even though there might be more games. And one thing you can also do is, once you're in your game set, you can create some variables in your storage. This will be very important because these variables can be used to store and pass information between the separate games, right? So if we have some mini game that we'll create in a moment, and we want to return something like a number of experience that the player should get for playing it, right? Because he might finish first, he might finish second, and so on. We might want to return the name of the minigame that he has played because we want to display some window that tells him, hey, you have played this temple run and you got 25 experience for it. And for these things, there is the storage. It will remember your values for throughout all the games, right? So if you have something saved in there, the value is going to be same in all the games that are in the game set. Right, so for now, I think I won't add something because so far I don't know what. But we're just gonna jump into a global storage, and we are gonna create our first instruction, and that is gonna be a start minigame. And now there is gonna be ID, and ID is gonna be ID of the game that we want to start. And of course, if you have more games, you can create some data sets where there is gonna be a name of the game, the ID of the game, and the ID I'll show you later where you get it. It's from the game set window. So start minigame ID and players. This is going to be for which players you're starting this. And one thing I need to stress out, there is actually there's this piece that is newer than the one that we're going to use. But this is a matchmaking, and the problem or the reason why I can't use it is that I don't have any friends now. Oh, that was sad. Anyways, the way matchmaking works is that it takes the IDs of the games that you pass in, and it starts searching through all the instances of your hub for other players that are in the matchmaking as well, you know? And you need at least the minimal number of players to be, you know, to be in the matchmaking at the moment, to connect them and to start a new instance of the server. But since I'm alone right now, oh my god, it's so stressful. No, since I'm alone in the game right now, I can't really tell anyone to connect, to join me. So this would take forever. I think that you know, for this instance, we are gonna use a session, this reserve session, right? And this is just this is just instantly gonna create the session with this ID with these players. And on session reserved, you wanna dispatch it, and we are gonna put in some delay because you wanna let the players know that the session has been successfully reserved, and you will want to write them something like your game is gonna start in 3 seconds, right? So on session reserved, this is the session object, so we will pass it in here, and we will write something to a console, I guess. Just as I said, your game will start in 3 seconds, right? We put in the delay for 3 seconds, and also if something goes wrong, we want to write out the fail reason just so we know what went wrong, right? And this is for starting the minigame, of course, and I think we are just gonna use one global storage even in the minigame, just to keep it really simple. And this is for this we are gonna need a return to hub. Then we wanna know wanna know the player. No, sorry, players again. Damn it. Because you do it to reserve session as well, so you need an array of players that are returning. We are gonna need an ID, of course, and I've already messed it up because I have a different sorting than here, so I don't like this, but hey, it's details. We don't need. Oh yeah, we should leave it in there, right? Sorry. Right, console. We're gonna say returning to hub in 3 seconds. We are gonna leave 3 seconds. I like 3 seconds. Seconds. I make a lot of typos today. Okay, so this one is gonna be called from our hub, and we are gonna just take this global storage and take it with us to the minigame, and from there we are gonna take return to hub, right? One important thing to remember is that we want to also set up the experience and stuffs for our players. And for that we are gonna create a we are gonna need some pop-up window, right? So window, custom window, and we're gonna create some simple layout, some image. We're gonna stretch it out in there. This is gonna be one. What is it gonna be? Some cool. Ah, this is ugly. Yeah, it's not better, but hey, okay. Never used green before in here, I think so. It was just to mix it up. Oh, just it's way too bright. I think we are just gonna. What are we gonna do? Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, it looks like a very, very weird. And then it's okay, it's okay. And we're gonna this an image. We're gonna stretch it out, and I'm gonna do -5. We're gonna create sort of a border around it with a even darker color. That looks properly disgusting, and I am so proud of it. Anyways, what we're gonna need is you got XP. This is gonna be the pop-up that shows when you return from the minigame. And we're gonna need another text that is gonna be name of the game. So we're just gonna do like this. It doesn't really make sense the way I'm doing it. Like, why did you want to write it out awkwardly like this? But hey, game that's gonna be XP. Right, I just don't wanna take a whole lot of time just to set this up, so we're just gonna go with this really ugly system, and gonna pretend that it's good. Everything's good. So somewhere here is gonna be name of the game that we have just returned from, and sorry, T, and now there's gonna be some XP gained, right? Yeah, it doesn't really matter what we write in here because it's gonna be replaced by the text that we're gonna name this XP gains, just so we know when we reference it from the script. This is gonna be minigame name. Yeah, so we have these two, and these two texts is gonna be shown, right? I mean, this two text is gonna be changed when we return from the minigame. And for that, we are gonna need some bool, and because we want to know whether the player is coming back to help from minigame or he's just logging in from from main menu. And for that, we are going to go to GameHub example now, to the game set storage, and now we're going to create the variables that we need. So name first will be minigame name, right? We don't really need to fill in string, fill in type, but why not string? Continue. And we're gonna need another one, which is gonna be gained XP, and that is gonna be a number. Continue. And then we are gonna need is returning from minigame, and this is gonna be a boolean. We could create we could skip this part probably if we were like checking whether the gained experience is higher than 0, right? But there can be instances where you would want to give him 0 experience, of course. You could also check if the minigame name isn't null or 0. Yeah, there are very there is a lot of other solutions than this, but okay, let's just pretend that we're gonna use this one, okay? Is returning from minigame false. So we have these 3 variables in our game set now, and they are gonna be in every single game that we put into game set, right? So when we are returning to hub, right? Why do we want to do this? I'm wondering where we should do it in the return to hub. We are gonna create one more instruction, just to have a separate instruction for setting these, right? So once you enter the game, you want to set the name. So there is a game set variables, set minigame name. We also need to set gained experience somewhere. Is returning from minigame is going to be set as well. So we are first gonna set is returning from minigame, right? So, oh, you know what? We are gonna use this prepared function. It's not gonna be item. We are gonna say set how do you call this? Set game set minigame name. It is a really stupid name for a instruction, but hey. And then we are gonna set a player, because the players won't be joining, at once. So we're just gonna call this for each and every player that connects, and there is gonna be a minigame name add, right? So this is gonna be called at the beginning of the game, and then we are gonna need one more instruction that is gonna be set player XP, and that is gonna pass in number of experience that he gets, and we will need you'll need to create a function, of course, for the number of experience that he should get, because since you have multiplayer games, of course there's gonna be some way that you sort the players the way they finished, and if they shoot more points or they finished the race first and whatever. So once you sort these, you want to call set player experience, and you'll just give experience to the players as they should. And afterwards, after all that is set, you can call return to the game hub. Okay, so this should be it with my mumbling, and we are going to continue. So we have created the way to add experience in our minigame, which doesn't exist yet. But now we want to see if the player is returning from minigame, right? Because we are in a hub, and if the player is returning, we need to know that. So we are going to have a one role in our game hub. This is just going to be a player. Well, I don't really know how else to call it. And here we have on player spawn, or on player connected, we're going to call. And we are going to ask if. And now we are going to get is returning from minigame. This is going to be true in case that he is returning from one of our minigames. We want to show a window. Sorry, open window. Yes, custom window. And player is going to be a player. We are going to put in some delay just to be sure that he has. Right. It's just going to take like 2 seconds, but he's still gonna have the black screen for loading anyways, so it's okay. So open custom window. This is because we know he's returning from the minigame, right? Afterwards, once you open the window, you wanna set the is returning from minigame to false, because you have already opened the window. And oh, sorry, it's gonna be here, right? So set player to false, because at this point he will have received the sorry, you know what I mean, right? And he will have received the experience that he should get. And of course, this doesn't have to be an experience, right? It can be like a hat or shoes, or whatever. You can give out bananas to players if you like, which is a pretty good idea, I think. Anyways, first, before you open the window, you need to set text of those widgets, right? At this point, you have just empty window with the text, name of the minigame, and experience. So text, now we are gonna look for widget, get widget. And this is gonna be from custom window, and we have a minigame name for this player 2, and that is where I get minigame. Get minigame name player. This is gonna fill in the text that we have in the minigame name. You know, that little column text. This is gonna fill in the minigame name that we have filled in. We will fill in the minigame, and of course, gain XP. Player is gonna go to XP gained. So we're gonna fill in these values, and then we're gonna also open the custom window. One thing and I need to point out that of course you need to have some experience system, right? Well, we don't have one here, but if we were to create one, and I think this will take much more time than I'd like. I'm already at 23 minutes. Oh my god, I'm babbling too much. Sorry. We are gonna edit the layout here quickly. I'm really sorry about this. I'm gonna add some text to it. Image, we're gonna put it in here, and the text is gonna be XP dance, and sorry, image is of course gonna be some really dark color. Ooh, love it. Anyways, XP, we're gonna move it a bit, because today we create some really ugly looking so XP, this is gonna be 1 it's gonna be some zeros, right? And this is gonna be XP value. So we can display how many experience we have, and of course that you wanna, in your game you wanna divide it to levels. But this is that would be for another video. If you wanna help with that, just let me know, and I'll create a video for that one. But right now, I think we can leave it like that. So let's suppose that we want to, show our experience count just in our game hub. And that means that we don't really need to have this one in a game set manager. We want to just create in a game storage our total XP and type number. And this is going to be bound only to the hub game, and we won't have an access to it in our other games, but we don't really care about that, right? So in our global storage, we want to create one more instructions. That's going to be add XP to player, and it's going to be XP. No. I'm just going to start with the player, right? It's such a huge mess. We need a number of XP that we are giving the player, and this is gonna go to game set player total experience to get total experience, and with this number adding operation we are gonna say it's gonna be XP plus this get total XP player. So this is just gonna add, you know, the whatever experience you're returning from the minigame. Where is it? Where have I created the return? All right. So we are gonna call it from here, right? And this is a really poor way to do it. So once we open the window so we are sure that he can see it, we are gonna say add this experience to the player, right? So now we have added the experience, and now we want to reset the minigame and player as well. So gained XP and minigame name player. You want to reset these because you don't want some values hanging in there, right? So gain XP 0 and empty string to the player minigame name, and it should work. So to go over it again, you just set the text for the widgets for name and for experience. Open the window. At this point, player can see that he has received the experience, which happens right after opening the window. The experience gets added to the list, to the player's storage, right? And then you reset all these. So if he leaves the game afterwards and connects again, and the player knows already that there is a false for is returning from any game, so it's not going to open the window, right? And one thing we want to do is that in this add exp to player, we are gonna update the UI, right? So we are gonna create one more because I'm sure you would have more information on the UI display than just, you know, a simple number with experience. So set text text widget, and again search for widget. Oh my guys, it's gonna be such a long video, I'm so sorry guys. And there is a custom HUD XP value player. We need to pass in the player, of course, and we just want to display a total experience of this player, and we're gonna call this wherever we update the player's experience, because you can add the player's experience inside the game hub as well, right? So you wanna have the option to just add it on the fly, and of course update it, right? So anytime we call add-exp to the player, it's update UI is gonna get called as well, because we know we are changing something, right? Also, we are gonna set visible new player just to make sure, and on the player start, on player connected, we are gonna call the update UI as well, just to make sure that everything gets set up correctly. We don't have zeros in there. So if I quickly test this, there should be a 0 displayed. No, let's just wait with the testing. I'm just gonna believe. You gotta believe. We don't have time for testing stuff. So okay, we are gonna take this game storage, store composition. We're gonna say game hub storage, done. And we are gonna jump into a new game, which we are gonna call Naru's Corner minigame. Finish. And now we are gonna do this. Oh, we are already at 30 minutes. Okay, so this is gonna be our minigame, which is not gonna be as glorious as I have hoped for since the time. We are just gonna get some target, I think. Get some target, and we are gonna get a listener. We are gonna need a role. This player role is gonna add our player a gun, some repeating rifle, let's say, to the hand, and we are gonna need a I'm not, wait, what? Did everyone see that? Why is there? Why was there an image of what the? We're gonna add 100 of these. I'm not sure if we use bullet. I think we use bullets. So just to be sure, we're gonna get musket balls as well. No, it is dumb. We are not using musket balls for repeating rifle, of course not. But hey, whatever. We're gonna set this to. Oh no, really? Loaded ammo. Okay, we already have loaded. So once the player connects, we are gonna say interaction between two entities, trigger target player and target entity is this guy on damage, and we are gonna say that he has like what 90,000 HP, just to make sure he is not killed, you know, by a few hits. So on damage, we are gonna create a new variable. No, we need a player, because there is gonna be multiple players, right? So storage, alright, storage. Now in this player storage, which is gonna be player storage, we are gonna add a number of hits, and number of hits is gonna get increased by 1 on every hit trigger. Number of hits is gonna be again, is gonna be number of hits of the trigger entity, which is the player, plus 1, right? So that's it, and then we are gonna check if number of hits is greater or equal to 10, right? And if it is, that player is gonna win. This is a very simple game. We are gonna write out a trigger entity wins. So yeah, it's really simple. We are just counting the number of hits that you have, and once you shoot the dummy 10 times, you win. And we are gonna return the player to the hub, right? And for this example, we just have one player, so we don't need to worry about everyone else. But yes, we have a composition here, game hub storage, beautiful. So once we've added this, we will be able to access, return to. Okay, of course, at this point you would want to end the game. So we are gonna create one more one more instruction here in the global storage, and it's really messy placing it into one global storage, but hey, sue me. End game, right? And this is gonna get called in the point where someone reaches the 10 points. So here we are gonna call end game, and at this point, I think, because we don't want to call it multiple times for no reason, right? So we are just gonna create a new variable in this global storage. Is the game running? And we are gonna set this on game start to true. And at the end of the game, we are gonna set it to false. And we are gonna say in this, it should check whether the game is running or not. If the game is running, we are still gonna count something. If not, it will just ignore it, right? Okay, so end game. We set this game running to false. Then we wanna set for each player in our game. What the hell happened? Then you want to set for each player in your game the number of experience based on where they have, where they have scored compared to other players. But since we have only one player, we are just gonna call this add experience to player, which is not gonna work here because I'm updating something that's not here. For each in players. I don't have anything sorted, so this is gonna be the player, and experience is gonna be just simply gonna give 30 experience, right? So right here I'm just setting everyone to 30 because I don't have the sorting system for it. It's not the purpose of this video, so right, just add experience. And one thing I've forgotten, when you start the minigame, you wanna set minigame name, and that is here. Once player connects into your minigame, you wanna set the name of the minigame. So variables, and we are not gonna see this. Oh, I'm so stupid. Of course, that you want to add this game here, right? And the current game has been added, which is cool. Now we are gonna see those in here. Games. Oh sheesh. Game set minigame name. Player and minigame name is gonna be string, and it's gonna be called dummy shooter. And of course we also wanna set our is returning from minigame to true because, well, we are in the minigame. Yes, so on player connected we set true is returning and dummy shooter as the name, and the experience we set at the end of the game as we have here. Once we set the experience, we are gonna call the return to hub, and players, they are just again gonna be these, and we don't have the hub ID because I don't really see it because we haven't published the game yet. So that is one thing I'm gonna do now. So give me a second, and I think it should be, oh no, one more important thing. You of course have on player connected to add the storage. Player and storage, because otherwise we would be shooting for nothing, right? Okay, save this, and we are gonna update the games. So publish game, export and publish. We are gonna need, oh sure, don't have any animals. And I am not sure if I have a scene set up for this, but I'll just quickly set up a scene for. Right, so here we are on our Ylands workshop. We just click through these. This creation is protected. This is very important. If you don't check this creation is protected here, it seems not to work. I'm quite worried. Oh well, let's hope this is gonna work. Once you oh my god. Please don't tell me I've spent all this time and the workshop is down. Okay, we got further somehow. Now let's go on a minigame. Protected, yes, great. We're gonna leave it hidden so only I can see it in the list of the games. Save and polish. Protected, yes, blah blah blah. It's important. Let's jump back into our game, and we are gonna need to jump into the other game, which is the where is it? Corner hub. There we go. Whew. I was quite afraid that it didn't save. Anyways, sorry about that. It took a little longer. I don't know what's up with the hub. No, I'm so confused. Right. So in here we wanna export it as well. Are we ready? We are gonna need to update those, of course, because we don't have them ready with the IDs. But okay, first let's just go here. You can see that we have this. Naru's Corner minigame is already on the workshop, so we can see it here, and you can set get ID. This has been copied to your control. We can paste it here. So start minigame ID, and we are going to be starting our minigame with a lever, because that is very cool and stylish with this great stony red. So add script, and on switch on, we are going to go and instructions, global storage, start minigame. ID, as ID we are just simply gonna pass in the ID that we have just copied to Control V, and we are gonna create a empty array. We are gonna push it with the trigger entity, and then we are gonna say players are this variable. This is players. Of course, in this case, it's just one player. I just don't have time clearly to set up something better. But yeah, this is just gonna add the players alone in this array, and it's gonna start the minigame just for the player, just for me alone, right? Of course, otherwise you would create some system that checks if you have more than one player there. If you have like 4 players, you can start the game. Okay, so it is gonna call this start minigame. Right, your game will start 3 seconds, blah blah blah. And these things, these reserve session, and even the other one, the matchmaking, will not work on your rented servers or simple multiplayer. It has to be the dedicated servers that are automatically generated from us, from the game. And the only way they get generated is if the game is set as protected. So that's why it was important to check the little checkbar there, and I don't know why we couldn't click it off, but that's just one small issue. So okay, now we can already turn the lever, we are just gonna check here on player connected. We check if he's returning from minigame. We are gonna set the texts. We're gonna open the window, so it's gonna get shown that we got some experience. We're gonna add it. We're gonna update. We're gonna reset these values. So it should be everything that we need to do here. So we can save this, and we can publish game. Export and publish, of course. I'm quite positive that I forgot to do something. I really hope it's not something big, because I'm really closing into 1 hour video again. Next step, this creation is protected. Next, of course, and protected, yes. Hidden, save and publish, and you don't see it in the, sorry, just the same process. Just set it to hidden and protected and uploaded it to workshop. I'm back. Okay, and now we sadly need to go to the minigame again, because of course I uploaded it to workshop without adding the ID of the game, of the hub. So once we end the game, this we have this return to hub players. So all the players and ID is gonna be a string, and to get the ID, you guessed it, we go to this game set manager, and you can see that we already see both of them here. Get ID of the corner hub, edit script, and click. So these are basically the same, right? The only exception is that you are returning them to someplace else. So it could be one function with just different texts passed in. But hey, for now, this is all we need. Of course, I can see that update UI is missing the widget, and that is because we are in a different game and we don't have that. So right here, I can delete this and delete this because we are in a different game, right? Okay, game is running. One thing I am not sure. Oh, I've said this and we had the function for it. Well, never mind. Okay, so we will publish, export and update, yes. And this is just updating the game. Okay, next we already have the protection. I hope it's gonna stay protected. Hidden, save and published. Cool. So now it should be updated and everything should be fine and dandy. And we are gonna go test it out, because I have no idea if it's gonna work. Okay, so you can see I have my hidden games here. We are gonna go to hub, official dedicated server. This is first good clue that it could work, that we have actually started the server. And yes. So first we are going from main menu, so it shouldn't show anything. We have 0 experience. We are gonna start the search for our game. You can see, you can't see, your game will start in 3 seconds. Sorry, my stupid face was is blocking the chat, and I keep forgetting that is what the chat is. I'm gonna have to change it out. Anyways, it started our minigame, which is a great sign. Now we are gonna shoot 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Returning to hub in 3 seconds, Naru wins. This is great. This is how it should work. And now for last step. You can see jumping is on C. You got experience, game dummy shooter experience 30. If I close it up, you can see I have 30 experience there. We are back in our hub, and this is basically the system that you want to use. Uh, we've gone through how to create your hub, how to jump to and from many games. Always remember that game storage is gonna be only this what we've created here. Oh, you can see it. The number of XP. Sorry. If I show you, if I leave, it should remember the 30 XP once I connect back there, because for me it's always going to be saved there that player Naru Stark has 30 experience, because it is saved at my to my account. That 30 is going to be saved there. If I play again, get another 30 experience, it's going to become 60. So game storage is bound only to the single game. Game set storage is common for is the same for all the games in your game set, so you can pass in anything you like. If your player buys something through monetization, you can save it into this game set variable just to let other games know that he has purchased it and he has access to some more parts of your game. And yes, that is it. So everything's working, and I'm super excited that it's working, because I've had no idea. And as always, guys, if you don't remember anything, I can really mess things up usually, because I don't plan things ahead, which is really bad. So it ends up being a little messy. But I'm always here if you need something, so don't hesitate to ask me if you didn't understand something. If you have some questions about sorting the players based on the score, ask me on the forums, and I will get back to you as soon as possible, as always. So that will be it, and I'll see you in 14 days. So bye.